You're listening to Sip and Grow the podcast, the show where we taste awesome, delicious wines while having unfiltered conversations about our passions, experiences, struggles, entrepreneurship, and life. My name is Nicole Di Pasquale, and I'm a wine enthusiast just trying to pursue her passions and dreams while taking you on the journey with me, one episode at a time. My ultimate goal is to not only bring you wine knowledge and value, but also inspire you to enjoy your process and journey in pursuing your passions and dreams. Because guess what? The person you become while enduring the process is more important. So sit back, grab a glass, and let's sip and grow together. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Sip and Grow with me, your host, Nicole Di Pasquale. Today we will be getting into, are you ready? I don't think you're ready. No. So we're getting into French wines. I still have a lot to learn on the French wine aspect, but we will be talking about Bordeaux wines. Most specifically today, I have brought a Bordeaux from, drumroll please, the left bank. What is the left bank, you ask? Let me tell you. Let me give you some backstory. So I shout out to Apple TV first and foremost for coming out with Drops of God's, it's called Drops of God. It's basically a wine series on a sommelier who he was about to pass away and he didn't have a really good relationship with his daughter, but he built this whole wine fortune in was about to, in his will, he left it to his daughter and one of his best students, and they kind of had to fight it out, and whoever won the test that he put together would get his fortune, basically his entire life of what he's built between his cellar and a name for himself, because he was a really well-known wine critic and had a review column, and basically was a billionaire right before he died. So it's a very interesting show. It taught me a lot about the French system and how, let me choose the right words, how tough and the same the French system is. But it was cool because he kind of wanted to go outside of the rules and regulations of the classic French system, because France is the number one place for wines. Let's be real, let's be honest, they've been around since the 17th century, and their regions are prime time to make fire wines. I'm gonna give that to them. That is great. I just feel the French are very particular and specific with their wines and how they regulate their wines. And they definitely, in my opinion, need a more open mindset to certain things, which I think is changing nowadays. But that show really showcased that. So if you are looking for a new series, go to Apple TV, watch Drops of God. 10 out of 10. It is a little bit in French and English most of the time, but there are subtitles. But it's a very good show. Anyways, I had the pleasure of going to an event about a month ago here in Miami. It's the Union Grand Cru Bordeaux event. I was invited by Fabrizio, so shout out to Fabrizio from Sospito Wine Bar. Thank you for inviting me and letting me have that experience. It was a really cool event and experience for me, because I got to see the best of the best wines and producers from Bordeaux, because the French have a rating system, I guess would be the best way to say it, and Grand Cru is the top rating that you can have for your wine, right? So if you're drinking a Grand Cru, it's probably, not only is it top quality, but it's probably going to be really expensive or on the higher price point. you can get some Grand Crus that aren't too bad, that they're more accessible than other Grand Crus. But when you're drinking French wine, you will be starting at a $40 bottle of wine and going up from there, like a good French wine. You can get some that are kind of in like the $25 to $35 range, but it's very minimal and you're not promised as good quality as if you were to buy a $40 bottle of wine or a $50 bottle of wine. So if you're looking for French wines, they are on the pricier side of things, but they don't disappoint because I have grown to appreciate French wines a little bit more now that I'm getting into learning about them. And this event was a big turning point for me with French wines because I really was able to experience top quality wines and understand the passion and like the work that they put behind their wines, which was a great thing to see. But it was really cool because you were able to taste all the wines that were there and you got to talk to people. Like some people, of course, like everywhere, some people love to talk and then other people just were there just pouring wine, not talking at all. But the few that I got to talk to, they were really, really amazing people. And like they explained to me a little bit about their harvest. And this specific event was showcasing the 2021 vintages for all the producers that were there. And then they give you like this booklet and it basically has all the informations on all the producers, areas, and wines that were present that day. So that was cool. And I was like, it would be cool to kind of talk about some of the wines that I tried there, even though they are very pricey. I got one that was more or less accessible, which is this one that I have here today. This is from, oh, that's my hair. This is from Chateau Ormez de Pes. It is from the left bank. So the French have this thing for Bordeaux. If you know about Bordeaux and Bordeaux wines, you're either going to drink a wine from the left bank or the right bank. What does that mean? Let me tell you what it means. There is a river that divides these two sections. So you have a river in the middle, and it's basically like, well, it's like two rivers, but like I wrote down the names because I was not going to remember these, but there's an estuary called Gironde. So, and then it divides into two rivers called Dordogne and Garonne. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'll write it in the notes for this episode, but I feel like I'm saying it more Italian than like French, but it is what it is. But basically, these rivers divide the region into two sides, and you have the left side and the right side. The difference between the two sides is that the left bank usually is more Cabernet Sauvignon dominant, and then the right bank, the wines are usually more Merlot dominant. So that basically means like on the left side, the left bank, you're gonna have wines that are mixed or a blend of mostly made up of Cabernet Sauvignon, and then in the mix you can have Cabernet Franc, Malbec, Petit Verdot, and there's another one, and Merlot, of course, Merlot. And then on the right bank, you're gonna have it's gonna be primarily Merlot based, and then with like the rest of the blend will be made up of Petit Verdot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, or what's the other one? Or Malbec. So basically, they take this very seriously, and like the left bank they're always in competition. So like it's always the saying of like, oh, the left bank has better wines than the right bank, and the right bank has better wines than the left bank. Honestly, it's just a matter of what your taste is and what you like in wines. For me, just learning that day, because that day when I went to the convention, that's what I was like told. Like they gave me the backstory as to what the left bank and the right bank means, so that you kind of know more or less what's going on. And just based off of hearing that, I'm like, okay, I'll probably like more of the left side or the left bank of wines, because for me personally, I'm not a huge Merlot drinker. So if I'm having a wine that has a lot more Merlot than anything else, probably not going to be my favorite. But that day I was surprised. I was surprised because there was a lot of wines from the right bank that I actually really enjoyed. But also I was at an event where like I was drinking the top of the top quality wines, top quality producers. So that's another thing to take into consideration. But I really, really enjoyed the event, and I just like they gave me. I just love my booklets that I got. I love all the goodies that I got because they literally give you this information sheet, and then they give you another booklet where you can go around tasting the wines and like writing your tasting notes. So I thought that was cool. So let's go ahead and open this up and try this out. Can I take this off like this? No, I can't. Oh man. I have high hopes for this wine. So this wine cost me, if I didn't mention already, I'm gonna mention it again. Sorry, I'm like opening this very ghetto. This wine cost me $39.99. So it's a $40 bottle, which is normal for French wines. Like if you're looking to do or to buy, French wines, it's going to cost you minimum 38 bucks. I think that's probably like the cheapest. Well, no, these are lies. I actually did get a $15 bottle one time in California. It was a French wine, but I think that was like a special occasion, or it's like a hidden gem that like my winemaker told me about because it was like he's like, oh, it's pretty good and like it's not expensive at all. But other than that, I think it's really hard to find good French wine that is like at a decent price. Like you're gonna be paying for a good decent wine, French wine, you're going to be paying like $35 like minimum for sure. So I have high hopes for this wine because I remember that day at that event, I tasted all the wines and they were a 10 out of 10 experience. I had no negative things to say about any of the wines. I honestly don't remember how this one tastes. And that day I did have a 2021 vintage of this Bordeaux. So this one's probably gonna taste a little different just because it's a different vintage. But more or less it should taste the same. It just depends on how the 2020 vintage went and the 2021 vintage year went, right? Oh, and another thing that I should mention, which this is smelling nice. It's smelling spicy already, which we love a spicy wine. So this actually, like this chateau, the name of the chateau is dedicated to a group of elm trees that were once there on property, but they're no longer there. They disappeared. But that's the whole like meaning behind the name. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it makes sense because the label, like right here behind the label, it's like a tree or trees, basically like a reflection of the tree. So let's go ahead and pour this up. Ooh, this color is already giving purple. It's gonna be strong and in the tannins, and it's probably gonna be spicy too because we love a spicy wine. Who doesn't love a spicy wine? I mean, some people don't, but I love myself a spicy wine. Yeah, so the color right now is very purple. Let's go ahead and smell it. Oof. I'm getting herbal notes like spices, right? So I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting anise, I'm getting, what else am I getting? Almost like, not rosemary, but Oh my gosh, what is that smell? So we said anise, we said vanilla. For sure there's like maybe laurel leaf is what I'm getting. Yeah, laurel leaf, but oh my god, like you definitely smell the that this has been in a French oak barrel for sure. I can't wait to try this wine. It's giving me high on the spices. I feel like it's gonna be very like deep, dark red fruits for sure. Just by looking at it and the smell of getting all the spices in my nose, usually they tend to be dark fruits, like either dark red fruits or maybe I'll even get hints of like blueberry in there. And this is just based off of like, usually when I smell a wine like this, those are the taste notes that I get when I taste it. So let's taste it. So I would definitely say this is more medium bodied, going towards a full bodied, but it's not full bodied. It's just heavy on the medium. It has high tannins because it lingers on the tongue, then goes down after. So definitely is a wine that like stays on your palate for a second or two and then goes down. It's not a smooth wine at all. It's high on the tannins. So if you're not into tannic wines, would highly not recommend this. But this is giving me plum, like dark plum. It's giving, it's even giving like dark chocolate. I'm getting spicy, like autumn spices, basically. So there's definitely like black pepper in there too. I'm even getting like a little bit of leather in there. It's overall, I really like this wine. I definitely need some food with this wine because if not, I'm gonna be like already like tipsy after a glass. But it is a very like medium bodied wine, high on the tannins, leather, peppery, deep dark red fruits. I even get some blueberries and blackberries in there. My rating for this wine would, like, I enjoy this wine genuinely. I would say it's an 8.2 out of 10. That's my rating for this wine. It is on the pricier side, but again, this is giving you that high quality that the French bring when it comes to their wines. And like, again, this producer and all the producers that attended this event, like the one thing that they all have in common is that they take their vineyard management and their wine production so seriously, and they have everything down to the T. Like, they don't mess around when it comes to creating their wines, and they really are on another level when it comes to wine production. And they have the most important recipe for a great wine. They have the best environment, climate, land, soil in order to create a beautiful, balanced wine. I think this wine is very complex, but in a great way. It's higher on the tannins, and if you're into a very tannic wine, this would be for you. If you're not, probably not gonna like it. But let me know what you think. Like, if you have in your budget, if you have what you like, $40 to spend on this wine, I highly suggest you try it out, see how you like it, and just let me know what you think in the comments. I want to hear it. I want to hear all about it. But I definitely think this is a high quality wine and definitely worth the $40. Like, I think for $40, I'm not disappointed, because some wines be disappointing you, but not this one. Anyways, cheers to today's episode and cheers to the French. I will be getting a little bit more into French wine. I just want to learn more on the subject before coming on here and telling you guys about it. But the little that I did learn, I shared. and I can't wait to get more into it. But definitely watch that show, Drops of God, on Apple TV. I really enjoyed it, and it like literally made me want to become a sommelier like yesterday. But obviously, there's steps involved to getting that title, which we're working on. But anyways, I hope you have a great night or afternoon or morning whenever you're watching this. I hope you have a great day. And I hope you drink your wine tonight because, as always, I will be drinking my wine because we never miss out on a glass of wine each day. Well, sometimes I do, but you know, as long as I can have a glass a day, I will have a glass a day or maybe a bottle. Who knows? Whatever comes, whatever happens, happens, right? Cheers, guys.